My name is April Tierney, and I am an ADHD enthusiast and educator from Minton, Iowa. So I think one of the reasons I wanted to be an ambassador supporting the Soaring Child is we share the same passion. I have been an educator for almost 20 years now, and in those 20 years I have found out that my students with ADHD are awesome, unique, creative, energetic. They have all these really amazing traits, and I really enjoy teaching them. And another thing that I kind of figured out is we need to be doing more as a society, more as educators, more as parents to help students that have ADHD, to discover their gifts, discover their talents, navigate the world around them. And so kind of that common goal, especially looking at multiple different solutions, not just medication, I think is something that both of us, me and the Soaring Child, are very passionate about. I think for me, the catalyst to helping kids soar naturally was taking a really long, hard look at my own teaching practices. I think so many times in education, if we're seeing students not fit the mold, we try to force them to fit the mold that we have when we really should be doing the opposite, changing the mold to fit our students. And for me, it was looking at how can I bring more movement into the classroom, more creativity, more choices, more humor, more opportunities for kids to express themselves. How can I look at my schedule to maybe change that to fit my students? And the great thing is, when you do that, it benefits all students, not just students with ADHD. So I think for me, it was looking at myself as a teacher, what can I do to accommodate these students? In my journey to make my classroom more ADHD friendly, more neurodivergent friendly, some of the specific things I did, number one was to bring a lot of movement into the classroom. For example, when I would teach math, all my students would have whiteboards and markers. Why? Number one, they're more fun. It's fun to write on a whiteboard with a cool colored marker. Number two, I could easily see every student's work as I walked by because the writing is a bigger font, obviously, when you're writing with a marker. Number three, I could give children time to do a problem and then say 1, 2, 3, boom, and they would hold their whiteboards up. I could take a quick glance, they're moving, kind of getting interactive with the lesson, with the learning there. And I could also spotlight a student's learning, walk around the classroom, say, hey, look what so-and-so did. They had a really great strategy, and the students could see that from the other side of the room. So that's kind of one example of working movement into solving problems. If I had a message to give the world about helping students with ADHD, it would be to make our systems, our education systems, our parenting, the world in which we live, accommodate our students and not the other way around. I really like the metaphor of growing a flower. If you plant a flower and it doesn't live, it withers, it dies, we don't blame the flower. We look at the conditions the flower is living in. We look at the soil. Is it getting enough sunlight? Is it getting enough water? And I think in our world, we need to do more of that. If our children aren't growing and thriving, what is the root cause? It's not the kids. They might be built a little differently, but that's what's the beautiful thing about our world. In fact, some of the most famous people of all time who did great things for science, art, music, technology, they did think differently, and we need to celebrate that more and make our world a playground for that kind of learning. I think one of the best tips I have for parents of students with ADHD is that physical exercise is so incredibly important for people who have ADHD, and just everyone, obviously, but especially for students who have ADHD. Study after study that has been done in the last 30 to 40 years keeps telling us the same thing. Physical activity helps. Unfortunately, in our school systems, a lot of times kids are getting less physical activity, and we need more of that. not only physical activity, but to bump it up even further, outside physical activity. We also have studies that show being outside is a great help for students who have ADHD. So if there's one thing you could do today, let your kids play. Let them play outside. Let them run around. That is such a help to almost all the symptoms of ADHD. My parting words for you today are, if the educational system your children are in isn't working for them, and the schools that they are in are not working for them, is to explore so many of the other opportunities that there are out there. Because of the pandemic, virtual learning has become more popular, and you can tailor that sometimes to the needs of your child. Where I teach on OutSchool, there are thousands of classes for students, but there are also homeschool groups and co-ops and small schools and community schools, and so there's so many choices now for education. It's a really exciting time for everyone, but especially students who are neurodivergent and looking for something to fit them.